Okay, so welcome to Test Administrator Training for SBA 2026. To get started with, we're going to have a list of prohibited activities. Under no circumstances should staff review, discuss, or copy secure test content or student responses. Use secure test content to develop instructional resources. Assist with or interpret test content for students. Alter student responses in any way. Leave secure test content or materials unattended in a non-secure location, or leave students unattended during testing. As far as a secure location, your classroom is considered a secure location as long as it is locked. Just make sure to put the testing materials away and lock your door to your classroom. Your responsibilities before testing are to complete training, which this is part of. Make sure all instructional materials are covered or removed. You're going to hear this multiple times throughout the training. There should be nothing on your walls that could possibly help students with the test. You need to identify a secure location for students to store electronic devices and personal belongings during the test. A great idea would be just to put those things across the back of the room and collect phones, earbuds, or smartwatches of students that may have them on their person in your class. We're hoping to avoid all electronic test violations, so please make sure students have their phones, earbuds, and smartwatches put away or collected by you. Responsibilities during testing. Check to be sure all instructional materials are covered or removed from the testing environment. This is the second time you're hearing that. Make sure there's nothing on the walls that would help students with the test. Make sure students do not have access to any unapproved electronic devices. Again, a second reading of that. Distribute materials at the start of testing. Check them back in immediately after the session concludes. And what I am asking folks to do is please go ahead and staple scratch paper to the test ticket so that when you give a student their test ticket back, their scratch paper is already there. Or in the event that I end up having students for makeups, their scratch paper is just right there with their test ticket. So please, again, do staple student scratch paper to the test ticket and keep them together. Read the TA script of student test directions verbatim. So you'll have a copy of that. You can look it over before testing. Actively supervise and monitor students throughout the entire test session to ensure a secure and distraction-free environment. And promptly report any instances to the school coordinator, which is Josh. That's me. No assistance. You can't help a kid on the test. This is kind of a duh. So students must work independently. No rephrasing, hinting, or encouraging specific answers like click C. None of that stuff. Violations compromise test integrity. So please make sure that students are doing their own work on the test. A third time, cover or remove all learning aids. Cover instructional materials on the wall. Cover poster charts, anchor visuals. Erase all whiteboards. If in doubt, black it out. Break procedures. Since we are testing for a 3-hour block, what's going to happen is we are going to let students use the restroom as normal. The difference is there is going to be no minga because we do not want students to log out of the secure testing environment to make a minga. So if a student has to use the restroom, we're just going old school and saying, yes, go use the restroom and come back. When the student goes to the restroom, they need to pause their test. And they're supposed to not discuss the test if they're in the hallway or the restroom. There will be monitors in the hallway and this kind of stuff. But basically, as far as restroom breaks go, we are going to be running just a regular use the bathroom as you need to use the bathroom sort of situation. There will be a scheduled 10-minute break. I think it's around 9:15. There will be an announcement made to say, hey, it's time to go on break. By this time, you should have received some snacks to distribute to your students. What we're going to do is everyone is going to stay in the classroom during this break time. Please do not send students to the restroom during break time. This is an in-class break. Get the kids the snacks, let them sit and chat and whatever, make sure they have paused their test. And after the 10 minutes, there'll be another announcement made to continue testing. After the break is over, students can go back to using the restroom just like we would on a normal school day. Ending an online test session, it's important to end the session. So when there are approximately 10 minutes left in the session, I would say when there are approximately 15 minutes left in the test session for ELA, I would tell students, hey, here's a brief warning, start wrapping up what you're doing. And then I would give another announcement at 10 minutes, and then another one at 5 minutes, and then say, hey, everybody go ahead and pause your test. And then from your station, your computer, I would go ahead and end the test session. It's going to ask you if you want to end the test session and basically kick everyone out of the test. At that point, you're going to say yes. If a student is staying in the test room after completing their online test, so you say you have an early finisher that gets done, this sort of sucks. Students will not be allowed to use their testing device once they have finished testing. Using their testing device for non-testing activities in the testing location is considered a test incident, and the student's test may be invalidated. So let's say that Frank finishes the test, and he wants to play shell shockers on his Chromebook. The answer is no, Frank. You have to close your Chromebook and do one of the other activities we have for you that doesn't involve your Chromebook. It's kind of silly, since Frank wouldn't be able to message his friends that are in the secure testing environment anyway, but that's life. So we have to close Chromebooks after a student finishes the test. It can be on their table, but it has to be closed. They can't be using it. Students must not have access to unapproved electronics. This is the third or fourth time we've heard this. After the test is over, the Chromebook is now considered an unapproved electronic. So please make sure again that students are not using the Chromebook after they have finished their test. Only activities such as reading a book or working on a paper pencil assignment for a non-related subject is allowed. After testing, we'll collect all scratch paper and test tickets. Again, I'm asking that folks staple the scratch paper that belongs to a student to their respective test ticket. It just keeps everything tidy. You'll put them back in one of two envelopes, either a still testing envelope or a finished testing envelope. I will come around and have you sign some paperwork. The paperwork I'm going to have you sign is actually already in the folders that you're going to get during your training. So I'll be just collecting the paperwork at that time. Please make sure it's signed. Please don't throw it out. It's kind of a pain to run around and collect these things. So again, scratch paper stapled to the test ticket, students that are done in the finished envelope, and students that still need more time in the still testing envelope. And that's it for this training. Thanks for watching.